Tonight from Exploria Stadium in Orlando, Florida, it's the 2021 She Believes Cup. Our matchup coming up in just a few moments. It's the United States versus Canada. This is the first game for these two teams. Megan Rapinoe will be in the starting 11 tonight. One of many veteran stars you will see tonight for the United States women's national team. Welcome everyone to our coverage here on FS1. Along with Ali Wagner, I'm JP Dellacamera. Game one for USA and Canada. Ali, what are your expectations?
Well, look, for Canada, this is the first time they've really been together in about a year. Their first time under their new coach, Bev Priestman. So I think it could be not as smooth sailing as you would expect. And on the flip side, I think this is a U.S. team that has looked like a well-oiled machine since Vlatko took over. And this is now about performances of individuals, of small groups, as they try to prove to Vlatko that they deserve to be starters or on this Olympic roster.
Let's look at the starting lineups now for these two sides.
Well, look, Bev Priestman has talked all week about being brave. So with this group, I think she's going to come out in a 4-3-3. And if that's the case, I think they're going to try to take advantage of how aggressive the U.S. is attacking on that left side and try to find Deanne Rose in behind the movement of Crystal Dunn on that right. And for the U.S., Kat Macario gets an all-important start in just her third cap. I think she can boss this midfield, and I think she's going to be really important in linking up play between Purse, Lynn Williams, and bringing Carly Lloyd into the fold more.
Moments ago, we caught up with U.S. head coach Vlatko and Vanovsky. Time now for Matchday All Access, sponsored by Volkswagen, the presenting partner of U.S. Soccer.
Right, Kit is going to start, and we're expecting to see creativity, lots of creativity from her. That's the type of player that she has, lots of flair. But one thing that specifically, tactically, that we want to see from her is connecting the lines for us, putting herself in a situation where she can get the ball and be dangerous individually, but also help our team become more dangerous as well.
Our coverage is presented by the Volkswagen Atlas Cross Sport. Coming up next, first half kickoff, USA versus Canada.
This match on FS1 is sponsored by Volkswagen, the presenting partner of U.S. Soccer.
Welcome back, everyone, to our coverage of the She Believes Cup here on FS1. USA have won 3 of 5 previous She Believes Cups. France and England were the other winners. For Canada, this is the first time we'll see them, and Ali, we'll see them missing some key players. This is one player to watch tonight, a goalkeeper that's going to be tested, Kaylin Sheridan. Canada will be in red. USA in the white tops and the blue shorts as we're set for kickoff. Francia Gonzalez from Mexico is our match referee, as is played at the back by Zadorsky. Up for Quinn, pushed back to the right. Sent wide by Gilles. U.S. with the recovery. Lindsey Horan will push it back to Sauerbund, and then off Sauerbund. Prince will get it for Canada. Lost it there. A bit scrappy at the start. About a half a minute into this one. Played back to the feet of Alyssa Nair.
It's the start you'd expect, right, JP, between these two countries? It always gets scrappy.
Good chance for some of these Canadian players to try to earn a spot on the Olympic team, Ali, with some of the big guns missing, including Christine Sinclair.
Yeah, I mean, that's the silver lining, I think, for Bev Priestman, and a good look at Vlatko and Vanovsky. They're both in the same situation where they're trying to evaluate their personnel and who's going to play a big role come the Olympics and who's going to be on that final roster.
Players like Katarina Macario, who just lost it there. Getting her second straight start, wearing number 11 for the USA. It'll be a throw-in from Midge Purse. Looking at the USA starting 11. The real big surprise was probably the right back spot, Midge Purse in for Kelly O'Hara, who we're told has an injury issue.
Yeah, that's a big opportunity for Midge Purse, and tonight I think she's going to be challenged with the movement of Janine Becky, a player who likes to get behind but is equally comfortable popping off into that pocket below. And I think Becky's going to be key for Canada tonight and trying to drag out Julie Ertz. Both her and Fleming can get on both sides of that 6 and find some space.
Had a quick look at that. Priestman, that's given away. to Sheridan. Kaylin Sheridan, a bit of a surprise starter. Stephanie LeBay has been Canada's number one. Here's a turnover. Taken away, and she went down. The referee's going to say outside the penalty area.
Well, turnovers killed Canada against the United States back in qualifying, and we're already seeing glimpses of that tonight. The two converging on Lloyd right at the edge of the 18. It looks like when she's trying to slide past Zadorsky, it's Scott that clips her from behind.
Oh, remember, no video review in the She Believes Cup. So it's a free kick. Sheridan will take a look at this one. The usual suspects for the USA. It's Horan. Rapinoe's right there as well. This is just outside the 18. Rapinoe with a strike. Hits the wall. Comes back. Purse. Lifting it. Ertz was looking for it in the air. She's deadly there. Here's Crystal Dunn moving it to the left. Macario. Back for Dunn. Megan Rapinoe pulling it back against Jessie Fleming, fighting Macario. Attempted cross block, she'll try it again. Nice footwork there. Again against Fleming, and it is lost out. Canada will put it back into play.
A good look at the strike of Megan Rapinoe. Wall does its job. Janine Becky, in fact.
High expectations for number 11 for the USA, Katarina Macario, a sub in her first game against Colombia, started the second game against Colombia and scored a goal in that one. Trying to earn a spot on the Olympic team.
Yeah, but it's even more than the production we've already seen out of her. The calmness that she plays with.
It's a throw-in for Dunn. Macario. Back for Dunn. Dunn has been the starting left back for this team since back in 2018. Horan to the feet of Lynn Williams. 1v1 on the right against Chapman. Williams, couple of cuts. The cross denied, but deflected out. Maybe they're not going to say it went off Chapman.
And I think the U.S. is going to try to take advantage of that area tonight. With Lynn Williams' pace going against Chapman, the U.S. should have the edge.
Williams is one of those players, Ali, who has gotten more minutes under USA head coach Vlatko Andonovski.
Yeah, and I just think he likes that balance up top between Rapinoe, Carly Lloyd in this instance, and Lynn Williams. They all have different profiles up top, and it makes it more difficult for the opponent to understand what's coming at them.
The push there, not called. Ball played somewhat dangerously back to the feet of Sheridan, who will clip it forward, and that's going to go out of play. We weren't sure if this was a changing of the guard with Sheridan starting in goal tonight. We were told by the Canadian press officer that we might see all of the Canada goalkeepers in this She Believes Cup tournament. They know what LeBay can do for sure, but this is a good test for Sheridan against the #1 ranked team in the world, the USA.
Yeah, and I think it was a tactical decision as well, with Kylan Sheridan being more capable of dealing with aerial service in the box. I think that's something that you'd expect against this U.S. team. Whereas LeBay is more of a shot stopper, quick to the ground, lower, just lower profile.
Sheridan taps it to the right. Sheridan plays for Sky Blue in the NWSL. And the foul is given there. Called on Williams. Williams led this team last year in assists with 6. In a shortened year, they only played 9 games. And Sheridan is down in the early going.
Yeah, it looked like when she played that ball out wide to the right, she immediately flinched.
She's hoping to make her first Olympic team. She was an alternate in 2016. should she have to come out. We mentioned Stephanie LeBay, but they also have Riley Foster, who played at West Virginia University, but that's LeBay who's up, and Foster now plays for Liverpool.
And here's a good look at it. Williams just bearing down a little bit in the press, and a simple pass out wide, and immediately grabs that groin.
Oh, you could see her grimace when she let that one go.
You know it.
In this tournament, by the way, you are allowed 6 subs as LeBay warms up. She's a 34-year-old goalkeeper who was Canada's #1 at the last World Cup.
It's so early in the game, so early in the tournament. We have to remember, you know, this group hasn't been together for about a year.
Well, they got started around February 5th with training. They didn't have all of their players here because some of them were coming from various places. Besides Sinclair, though, who's missing, they're missing some other players that couldn't get clearance to come here because of COVID protocols over in Europe. Kadisha Buchanan is a terrific center back, probably one of the best in the world. You've got Ashley Lawrence also not able to come here, and Jordan Huitema, probably their next great goal scorer for Bev Priestman, not allowed to come as well. So the U.S. were pretty lucky. They got Macario to come over here. They couldn't get Alana Cook to come because of COVID and the protocols. When you return, teams did not have to send players during this international window.
No, you're right.
Here's the list.
And there's a silver lining in that, though, and that is that you get to see some of these other players like Gilles, and from what I've seen from her, she's incredibly comfortable on the ball. She's confident playing out of the back, and that's something that Bev Priestman kept reminding us of in her principles, that she believes her players need to be brave and they need to be able to play out of the pressure that the United States is going to put them under. And of course you have to pick and choose your moments, but for the most part she wants her players to try to absorb that pressure and deal with it. And I think that's one of the reasons Gilles gets a start over maybe a Sophie Schmidt, and that was a little bit of a surprise to me.
This is tough to watch. You know she does not want to come out. She knows what this means. This was a big opportunity for her. But you have to be smart with these injuries. Her Sky Blue team is into preseason. Canada is into this tournament. So you don't want anything serious to go wrong with Kaylin Sheridan walking off with some assistance. And she'll be replaced by LeBay.
And just know that when you're in preseason, you're never going to be fully fit or in your peak form. So that can obviously play a role in this if it is a muscle injury. But secondly, I mean, when you're playing against the U.S., you have to be able to clear pressure and send it long at times. And if she can barely walk, you know that's not going to be an option.
She has been very dependable with Sky Blue. And I'm sure their coaching staff is watching this and hopeful that it's nothing serious as LeBay comes on. So Kaylin Sheridan's night is done. Possibly her tournament, we don't know. We'll find out in the days ahead. A slow start to this game, and it's been stopped after that injury. So Bev Priestman was hoping her team would be brave, but not naive. I'm sure she didn't think she'd have to make a sub this early in the game, and especially Ali at that position.
No, but part of learning for these young players is dealing with the unexpected. And another piece against the U.S. team that she stressed to us was just weathering that first 10-15 minutes of the game. That injury did buy her team a little bit of time to settle in.
On this right side, Purse, who can play in the back or up closer to goal. Tackle away. Good job by the veteran Alicia Chapman, who plays for the Houston Dash. Knocked it off. Purse. Canada will have another throw-in. They've not played since last March. A draw against Brazil. Their last 4 games didn't go so well. A couple of losses and a couple of draws. They're supposed to play England in April. Away. Headed. Williams across. Knocked down. Jade Riviere plays at the University of Michigan, pulling it back against Rapinoe. She'll collect it from Scott. That's blocked, and that's going to go out. Not much of a rhythm so far in the first 12.5+ minutes.
It's a good press from the U.S. Carly Lloyd in particular nods that ball onto Williams.
Ball blasted away by Dunn. Settled. Riviere to Desiree Scott. Scott will be playing for Kansas City in the NWSL this coming year. Ball lofted long. Sauerbrunn closest to it. The USA captain forced back. Got her heels clipped. Foul was given there. Horan back for Becky Sauerbrunn. Back to Alyssa Nair. USA so solid defensively. They're not even conceding shots on goal. None in the last 3 games.
I know Vlaco said that, and I could have sworn I remembered a shot against Colombia in that second game.
Yeah, it depends on the statistician, right?
Yeah.
This is Quinn. Quinn will push it left. Becky. Quinn. Across the way. It took a while to get there. Scott pass picked off. Horan. Megan Rapinoe. Down the left wing. Slowed down by Riviere. Finds Macario. Katarina whiffed on the first try. Try to recover it. Becky will tap it back, and then the Chapman clearance. U.S. back on the turnover. Macario. Back for Dahlkemper, who's now playing for Manchester City. A good 4 years with the North Carolina Courage. This is Dahlkemper. Purse. Macario. Almost given away. Becky deadens it for Quinn. Intercepted. U.S. first back on the ball. Purse. Trying to go outside of Chapman. Good aggressive challenge there by Chapman. It's a USA throw-in for Midge Purse.
Yeah, and it looks like Lynn Williams is pinching in more and allowing that 1v1 battle to ensue between Midge Purse and Chapman. So far, Chapman's been up to the challenge.
Purse, another player from the sky blue roster of NWSL. Up this left wing, Becky. Blocked by Dahlkemper. Becky's a teammate of Dahlkemper's with Manchester City. Fleming will push back to Quinn. The experienced Becky cutting. Purse trying to stay with her. Chapman. Gilles. Riviere. Waiting for the run of Rose. First touch for Deanne Rose, playing it across. Right past the mouth of goal. Becky on it. And Purse will knock it out.
And it's a good start from Canada. I mean, Vlaco had told us that he thought they were going to come out in a 4-2-3-1. So I think the team and the staff is maybe a little bit thrown off that they are in a 4-3-3 and is comfortable playing out as they seem to be. And Gilles in particular was the one who really started that last offensive action down the right side with just a first-time ball out and didn't allow the U.S. to recover.
Janine Becky with that corner. Headed right at Alyssa Nair. Looked like Gilles was the one that got the head to it. like what Bev Priestman's team was going to do tonight, Allie, because we mentioned they haven't played since March, and it's a new coach besides. So who knows how they were going to play tonight.
You're exactly right. And the things you know are the individual qualities that the players have and how they might try to utilize them. But I think when you look back at the qualifying match that the U.S. played Canada, they were sitting in a 5-3-2. This is entirely different.
Horan setting it in, headed. Not much on that one, and LeBay has it. LeBay plays now for Rosengard. Here in the 18th minute, zeros on the scoreboard. Carly Lloyd there with the high press. She told us yesterday she loves that part of the number 9 role, pressing high.
Go figure. When she was a 10, she wouldn't defend. Neither would I, though, to be fair.
Yeah. That was fair. Macario in the box, trying to find Horan. She went down, ball loose, cleared by Canada. Here in the 19th minute, scoreless, USA-Canada. Game 2 of this tournament. Brazil won the first game over Argentina 4-1. USA will play Brazil on Sunday in their next game. Becky. Inside of Purse on the wrong side of that pass. Intended for Nichelle Prince. Avidal Kemper brings it up slowly. It's a familiar back five with the exception of Purse in for O'Hara. Riviere. And Crystal Dunn put it back in with a throw-in. Knocked away from Dunn. Sauerbrunn forced back. Comes all the way back to Alyssa Nair. Nair was looking for some movement. Now we'll send it long instead. Horan plays for Portland in the NWSL. Should get a throw-in. And the return from Ertz. Lindsey Horan sending it forward. Lloyd juggling, went down. Williams leads it. Macario shot. And it's high and wide of LeBay.
And it's really good look from Lindsey Horan to find Carly Lloyd in between the two center backs. And then Lynn Williams is tucking in on the weak side. Really cool to play that ball to Macario. She might have tried to have a go herself, but she had the awareness that Macario was sneaking in. And that's one of the beauties of Kat Macario is that you want to get her in those situations. And usually she put that on frame. Right decision by Lynn Williams, but poor execution in the end by Kat Macario. And I think she's had a slow start to this match.
Horan in a space. Dunn finds that vacant space. Sending it in. That's blocked and cleared by Gilles. Gilles plays for Bordeaux. One of the players that was allowed to come over here.
And one of the things the U.S. wanted to focus on tonight is just that patience in the final third, knowing when it was on to go. And I think right now some of the decisions haven't been spot on. That last ball in from Dunn. Just spin out, keep it for your team.
This is Dunn. Nice move there. Dunn will send it up. Missed the first target. Lloyd. Horan's after it. Becky, let's see if she touched it last. She did. It's a U.S. throw-in. Purse is ready. Former Harvard University standout will find Williams. U.S. with the short passing near side into the middle. Almost handled. Zadorsky was able to come up with the ball. Now it's Becky. Chapman. There's the press again from the U.S. Results in another throw-in.
Here's a good look at whether or not that was a handball. I like the no call. Too many times these days we see that decision overturned.
should be a U.S. corner, and Rapinoe's coming over to take it.
And again, Chapman just stopping the advancement of Purse. I think Purse needs to start mixing it up and maybe cut one back on her.
Rapinoe, well rested after missing almost a full year of soccer. It was Ertz going after it at the near post. And Rapinoe will have another go at it.
And we'll see if they can get it right. They like to flick. Oh, they did.
Yes, they did. 23rd minute, scoreless here as LeBay was ruled a goal kick. And now they're going to bring it back. Again, it's back for LeBay. U.S. trying to put some pressure on her. There from Carly Lloyd. She said she loves the high press, Allie. She's 38 years old. Just to have that kind of fitness to high press is amazing.
Fittest she's ever been.
Desire. Yeah.
Yep. And you can even see on the weak side Lynn Williams coming in to join her. She's the one who triggers it, and everyone reacts off of it.
The 24th minute. Still scoreless. The longer it stays this way at 0-0, the better it is for Canada. It's Rapinoe on the free kick. Curling ball, inviting ball. Headed away, but not out. Williams. And it was wide. U.S. says deflection, and it's a corner.
It's a really good delivery by Megan Rapinoe, trying to hit that back post with Carly Lloyd. Macario closing in on it, and then Lynn Williams does her job framing it. And on this one, JP, we'll see. They keep trying to target Ertz at that near post. We know, yes, to try to finish, but more importantly, potentially to flick one on for Lloyd at the back.
Rapinoe to the middle. Popped by several in the white shirts. And now it's going to be knocked out of play. So the U.S. have had a few chances on these corners and free kicks, but no execution yet on those. Riviere with this throw-in. She's only 20 years of age. International debut came in 2017, part of the youth movement of Canada. We do have some good young talent on this particular squad, and also some players that are not even here as part of the She Believes Cup roster. Chapman. Becky. Pulling it back against Rapinoe. Janine Becky going long. Settled. And then lost. Another throw-in coming up. Vlatko Andonovski, a perfect record since taking over from Jill Ellis. 13-0-0. Tough job that he has ahead. He's going to have to make some cuts come the Olympic roster time. And there are going to be so many good players that won't be able to play in Japan this summer. Just a numbers game, going from 23 from a World Cup roster to 18.
Do not envy him at all making those decisions.
Hurts. Some will say it's better to have that kind of talent, right, to make those decisions, because you know you're loaded, but it's challenging. It's difficult.
Yeah, of course. I mean, he's in the prime spot. This team, so deep, so loaded. Expectations are that they go and win it.
It's always the expectation, right? Here's Dunn. Cross was denied, but Crystal will earn another corner for the U.S. Here in the 28th minute. Short this time. Lucario. Megan again. Going near side, but LeBay was there. It's another U.S. corner. Megan with 54 goals in a USA jersey, 68 assists. Puts one to LeBay. She didn't do well with that one. And now it's going to be cleared by Gilles, out for U.S. throw-in.
Well, she did enough, but that's got to be a signal to the U.S. players to try to drop some service in on her.
Here's Zadorsky. Clipped by Sauerbrunn. Out again. Bev Priestman says she's somewhere in the middle of the two coaches that she's worked under recently. John Herdman, who now coaches Canada's men, and Phil Neville, who's now the head coach of Inter Miami of Major League Soccer. And Phil Neville was the coach of England, where Priestman was one of his assistants at the last World Cup.
And part of the process, too, is just not changing Canada too much, right? Coming in and being able to tweak things in such a short time without ripping up the whole playbook. But this looks like a different Canada to me. Just that composure out of the back to be able to break that press.
Held up there. Played back by Prince. Riviere. Quinn. Some better ball movement from Canada. They tried to find Prince. Blocked. Quinn in the box. Shot is blocked. Quinn tried again. No luck there. Cleared by the U.S. Canada back inside the circle for Gilles. Back to the feet of LeBay, who was not the starting goalkeeper tonight. Came in early in this game for an injured Kaylin Sheridan. Well, Canada's head coach Bev Priestman wanted to see some bravery from her team. I think, Ali, she is seeing some of that.
Absolutely. Playing a lot of short passes, keeping the U.S. moving, where this doesn't become such a physical confrontation that the way we would typically expect these two to match up against each other. 1-2 touch from Canada right now, just shifting the team, being patient.
She wants them to not be afraid to take chances, but at the same time, you've got to be smart, because you take a risky chance against the U.S., you get burnt on the counter.
But you also have double sixes out there, and that's part of the protection when you do want to play this way, if you want to stop the U.S. in the counter.
Sauerbrunn. Right side. Push. Switch by Sauerbrunn to Crystal Dunn. Dunn, the only player on this team to start all 9 games last year. They only played 9. They normally play about 20 or more in a year, but the pandemic stopped all of that. Dunn. This one going in. It bounces for Williams. And LeBay covers it.
And that's just smart positioning by Crystal Dunn. You can see she held the width all the way on that far touch line, gets a lucky deflection, but players in the box, Lynn Williams, Carly Lloyd, 2 of the targets trying to get in on the end of service, and that's going to be a pattern we're going to see.
Dunn kept it low. That's Lloyd. Tackled away. She was doubled up. handball was called. "33rd minute. USA and Canada scoreless here. First game was won by Brazil over Argentina. 4-1 was the score there. On Sunday, it's the USA against Brazil, followed by Canada versus Argentina. 3 doubleheaders, 3 games in 7 days. You're playing every third day, just like you would in the Olympics. So it's a good test for that upcoming tournament. Becky waiting for some movement. Finds it on the right. Rose. And it out. Corner for Canada.
And that's happened a few times now with Canada. Becky is coming from the left side and filtering over to overload the center part of the midfield, and that's where they're creating some of those attacking movements from. Bev Brisbane told us they want to win that midfield battle. At this point, I think they're holding strong, and our Tens are having to pull wide to pick up the ball.
Becky towards the middle, headed up by Ertz. And there's some contact. And it's Horan that's down.
Good win by Julie Ertz. And then Becky, or Zadorsky, excuse me, goes over the back of Horan.
Lindsay's fine. Ready to go back at it. Played last year very well for Portland in the Challenge Cup and also the Fall Series. NWSL is planning to start their year in April with another Challenge Cup before the regular season kicks off later in May. Ertz long, blocked by Chapman. And it was a good thing because Williams was free. Clipped by Scott. Desiree Scott, number 11, wearing the captain's armband with the regular captain, Christine Sinclair, out with an injury. Foul against Canada, against Rose.
This is starting to look more like it. Dunn doing a step over. She's about to swivel Rose, and Rose just comes in heavy from behind.
Push for Lynn Williams. Out wide. The cross. Headed. Tipped by LeBay. Carly Lloyd with her first real opportunity of this game.
And look, the U.S. isn't even getting numbers on this near side between Purse and Lynn Williams, and they're able to beat 4 Canadians and then get Carly Lloyd knowing there's going to be immediate pressure, so she darts to that near post. You got Rapinoe coming in, ghosting at that 6. Well scripted.
Rapinoe. Near post. That's cleared away. Canada first on the ball, but collected and swept away by Dahlkemper. That was just sent out for another Canada throw. 36th minute. Vlatko Andonovski looking on. Seeing Canada maybe play a little bit better than even he might have thought. Throw in for Dunn. That one was knocked up by Riviere. So another throw in farther up the field for the United States in the 37th minute. Williams. That ball was out. Entire ball over the line. Canada will put it back into play.
There's a good look at the last clip ball in by Lynn Williams. And Carly Lloyd beating her player to that near post.
Canada will move it ahead. That's Fleming. No foul given. Still dancing on the ball is Fleming. And now Oh, the foul is called. Free kick, Canada.
They want a card. Really good feed by Jessie Fleming here. Tight pressure by the United States, and really those are moments where you think you've got the player stood up. You think that someone else is going to come in and snag that ball away, but no one helped her out.
Couple of nice moves there by Prince. Then the shot was deflected. It falls to Becky. Mayer stopped that, but had Becky gotten a clean touch, Canada could have been up.
Coulda, should have been up. Really good work by Nichelle Prince. You can see how collapsed the United States defense is. There's plenty of numbers there, and no one is paying heed to Janine Becky, who was isolated outside of mid-purse, and then she goes to just side foot it, thinking it's going to be an easy tap in. And listen, Nayer's got that near post covered. You've got to rifle that or go back where she's coming from.
Nair thought about going out and trying to get that ball, but realized she might have been late to it. Off of that Canada corner, headed once, and it's over Alyssa Nair.
It just looks a little reactionary by the U.S., and I mean both offensively and defensively. They're not taking the initiative like we're so used to seeing.
Sunday on FS1, She Believes Cup continues. Catch Megan Rapinoe and this U.S. women's national team as they take on Brazil. Kickoff will be at 3 Eastern on FS1. Our coverage starts at 2:30 Eastern time. You can also catch it on the Fox Sports app. Rapinoe for this U.S. team that's unbeaten in their last 34. Sending it to the feet of Lloyd. It doesn't get there, but it falls to Williams. The shot! What a save by LeBay! Looked like Williams had the USA's first goal and the first goal of this game. Terrific shot. Corner for Rapinoe. Big time save for LeBay. Towards Horan, that's cleared. And the whistle is blown. There was some contact in the box. And that's Riviere that's down. LeBay looking over at her fallen teammate.
Well, here's the look of Lynn Williams just trailing the pressure of Carly Lloyd. No pressure on her, gets her head up and has a go. And if you think back to qualifying, she's the one who got the U.S. on the board early with a beauty of a strike, and that one would have been a close second.
Well,
good save by LeBay.
Allie, if LeBay was a little shaky earlier, you could expect that, right? She just came in, wasn't expecting to play tonight, and came in, but she's into this game now with a save like that.
Yeah, and again, JP, that's one of those savable height shots, right? Where she doesn't have to stretch too far, it's not low, and it's not in the corner. So for a goalkeeper, I think they like that as their bread and butter, but you're right, she had to react quick because it was going against her movement.
So Riviere is the second Canadian player to go down there with an injury.
Hard to see what happens.
Yeah, it was a sandwich in there, right? She was in the middle.
Yeah, she's initially marking Macario.
And the 20-year-old is down. Canada has a deep bench, which includes, by the way, Sophie Schmidt, who was looking for her 200th cap for Canada, trying to become just the third Canadian to hit that mark. But Riviere is a right back, so if she does come out, it wouldn't be for Schmidt unless they change things up. You wouldn't think. Interesting game for Bev Priestman. Her team has maybe done better than some would have expected. We didn't know what to expect.
And to be fair, I think we had low expectations, knowing how many big names were not on the roster, and that it was going to be their first game together in about a year. New coach, new system, and she herself said, look, we were rusty. We've only had 2 full 11v11s. in training, but they found their rhythm, and I think they're disrupting what the U.S. typically likes to do. And right now, I feel like the U.S., I guess they want to keep going down the left side, and you're seeing Kat Macario start to come more central with Lindsey Horan pulling wide, and the rotations that we anticipate between her, Dunn, and Rapinoe are occurring, but it's all very methodical and not reactionary to, I think, what the situation is posing to them. They're forcing it as opposed to seeing where the space is.
She says she's okay. Last time these two clubs met, you and I called that game. It was 3-0, and if anyone just read the box score, they would have thought, well, easy game for the USA. It was not. It was scoreless for the first hour. And regardless of the fact that the U.S. didn't have all of their starters in there, it was still a very competitive game until Williams scored the first goal, and then they got 2 more after that. But the Canadians on that day were playing with pretty much a 5-player back line.
Very different.
This was taken down, free kick, U.S. And Riviere is back. She didn't miss much time at all.
And that's one of the first times we've seen Purse try to go to the inside and sells Jesse Fleming on it.
Fleming is a terrific player, plays at Chelsea. Still young at 22. Her first cap was at age 15. They wanted Fleming a little bit more left. On that Rapinoe angle, Megan ready. Curling ball, headed away by Gilles. Got it down by Dahlkemper. Quick shot taken. Stopped by Stephanie LeBay. So Williams has had a couple of good opportunities here tonight.
But both from outside the box. And Canada will be pleased with that.
One would think Canada and Bev Priestman would have to be thrilled if they can go into the locker room at halftime with this scoreline. This is their first game under Priestman, and they face the #1 team in the world. Headed by Lloyd. Lynn Williams. Ball was kept in. Quick shot. Foot clearance. That was off the defender. Dunn turning. It's deflected. Gilles will try to clear it out. Off Ertz. Ertz, who plays for Chicago in the NWSL. Finds Dahlkemper. First. Near the corner flag, the cross. Missed a couple of players. Sent it by Dunn. Rapinoe, the strike. LeBay bobbled and it's loose. And now finally cleared away. Well, for all that Canada has done to keep this one scoreless, they almost gave one away.
And it just feels like it's coming for the U.S. Yep. And we'll see if Lindsey Horan can finally get free. She's ended up on the carpet a few times in these set pieces.
First of 4 minutes of stoppage time. Rapinoe headed away. Sauerbrunn. Macario. Cat will find Dunn. Deflected ball out. It's another corner.
This is the one that LeBay bobbles. When it comes to LeBay, you always want to follow shots against her because she is likely to spill them. And that was the last good attack from the U.S.
Up for grabs. Headed up the middle by Canada. U.S. first to pounce on it. Wide for Purse. Midge Purse. That's cleared away. Again, it's Alicia Chapman. Williams blocked. Covered by Canada. They lost it, but the foul goes against the U.S. U.S. and Canada scoreless at this point. U.S. has had the edge in shots, a huge edge in corner kicks. Corner kicks have not been their best friend so far this evening. They've not executed well so far. That's one of their strengths. Quinn on the ball. Lost it there. Horan. Quinn with a tug there. Horan kept it going. Megan Rapinoe. Looking at options. Finding Lynn Williams. Lloyd's in the box. Williams. Rapinoe off the chest. Scrambling to try to get a touch on it. She'll recover. The cross. Lloyd. Deflected and cleared away. That was a scramble in front.
It certainly was, and you wonder if that's one of those moments the U.S. can just pull it back. If that first try hasn't worked, that second try didn't work, and just try to recycle it and find a player that's going to be open, because Canada was scrambling at that moment.
U.S. will have another throw-in. Done. Bringing it back now from Becky Sauerbrunn. Becky will find Ertz. Short ball to Dahlkemper. Purse very active on that right side. Princeton the takeaway. It's behind Deanne Rose. Prince will recover. Here is Michelle. Plays for the Houston Dash. Becky. And that's going to do it. Final whistle of this first half. Surprising scoreline here. USA and Canada are scoreless at the half. When we come back, first half highlights and an interview with U.S. Soccer President Cindy Arlo-Cohen. FS1's coverage is sponsored by Volkswagen, the presenting partner of U.S. Soccer. Interesting game tonight. Not what we expected, Allie. A scoreless game at the half. USA versus Canada. USA unbeaten in their last 34 games. And the Canadians, as we mentioned, last 4 games going back to last year, winless. 2 draws and 2 losses. But Canada has given a good account of themselves, I would think, after 45 minutes.
They really have. And I think Bev Priestman will be incredibly pleased with that first half, particularly weathering, the first 10-15 minutes, but the whole half. And the U.S. did create some chances, but I think none with the quality that we would anticipate, and not with the ease that perhaps, I anticipated coming into this match. I thought Canada was going to be rusty, and I thought the U.S. was going to be clicking. I think Lindsey Horan, Kat Macario, they were pretty much MIA in that first half, and what the U.S. was looking to do was more of the same, and they weren't taking advantage of what Canada was giving them. I mean, it was incredibly tight in the center of the pitch. Have to use the flanks, but they were only allowing the 2, Purse and Williams, to go at it on the right side, and they were looking to flood the left more often, but that wasn't working, and Canada was wise to it, considering I'm sure they've watched all the matches coming in. In fact, Bev Priestman had told us that she had watched the U.S. when she was scouting actually for England, because England was initially supposed to be in this tournament, and she was actually on the England staff.
6 subs allowed, Allie, in this one, and a very, very deep bench for the United States, which will include, Rose Lavelle, Alex Morgan, Kristen Press, and so many others. But you wonder how long Vlatko Andonovski will go with players to try to solve what they couldn't solve in the first half, as opposed to bringing in somebody that maybe can change the game.
Yeah, I think you're right on. I mean, this isn't about necessarily winning the game. This is about learning about your players and seeing the certain relationships evolve. I'm curious to see how long he keeps Purse in there, how long he keeps Macario in at that 10 spot, and potentially bring in a Lavelle. And if is it for Kat or is it for Horan? And if you bring Lavelle on, then maybe do you move Kat into one of the wing spots or into a false 9 position and bump Carly?
As for Canada, you would think they would want to go status quo, I would think, because things have worked out so well. And as Bev Priestman said yesterday, she's looking to see who's going to make this Olympic roster. I think Vlatko Andonovski says he's not even close to naming his Olympic roster, but I would venture to say that he knows more players that will be going to Tokyo than Bev Priestman knows at this point.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment, and I think it's also important for a new coach to get buy-in to her vision. And so if this team is working well, you want to get a result tonight, and you want to get this team behind you and believing that what you're about to lay down for them will pay dividends.
Well, Brazil, who the U.S. will face on Sunday, is right now leading in the standings. 3 points for a win, 1 for a draw. Then you go to various tiebreakers to crown a champion. USA has won this 3 times, all in even numbered years. England and France, the other 2 winners. Japan was supposed to be in this tournament because of the COVID pandemic. Were not able to come here. They were replaced by Argentina, who were competitive, you'd have to say, at least, in that game against Brazil. Especially that first half. Second half underway. Looks like no changes. USA in the white and blue. Canada in red. Here's Macario. That was a hold and a half. Is that ball stopped? Let's see. Thought that ball was still rolling. Caught the referee off guard a little bit. Done. And that goes out of play. So we showed you the stats earlier. U.S. is dominated with the possession, the shots on target, the corners, but nothing to show for it. So one would think execution was part of the discussion in the locker room at halftime. Better execution.
And I think shot selection, and I think final pass selection.
Yeah. Well, what'd you think, Ali, about the patience? Because that's a word that we've heard coming out of the U.S. camp.
I didn't think it was there. I didn't think they were choosing the right moments to go. And even though some of those chances that I would have said, no, don't force it, ended up, in shot creation in that column, if you will, I still think it wasn't the right decision more often than not.
Vlatko Andonovski said he's got to try to find a balance. They have a killer instinct, and you don't want to take that away from the U.S. But at the same time, if it's not on, you want them to be patient, recycle it, bring it back, start again. Set long is by Dahlkemper.
And that's just a pattern. Yeah, and that's a pattern we see all day long. It's that diagonal from Abby Dahlkemper, and she's the one that really gets this left side isolated.
Mario, short pass, now in. Lloyd, turnaround, saved by LeBay. And then cleared by Riviere. So another good chance for Lloyd. Talked about making adjustments in her game. Now is the number 9 target player. Here's Macario, knocked out by Scott off of Macario. So it's a goal kick for LeBay.
And it's interesting, Lloyd had told us the other day that she wants to be more in balance when she's playing that ball, that final ball, or when she's releasing her shot. In this situation, she was just a little off balance as she's trying to strike it. And I don't think she hits it as cleanly as she'd like.
Sauerbrunn. Zihoran. It's coming all the way back for Becky Sauerbrunn, who will keep it alive. Back for Alyssa Nair. Nair played in 7 of the 9 games last year, did not allow a single goal. Zadorsky will track it down for Canada. The veteran will send it upfield. Purse knocked it away. Midge Purse on the move. Chapman again there. Alicia Chapman has been very, very solid tonight.
She's been shutting it down on that side.
Zadorsky plays for Tottenham. Becky. Pushing it across to Riviere. Jade Riviere. Defended by Haranim and Ertz. Dan Rose had it stripped away. Tenacity of Ertz. Rapinoe. Foul is drawn.
Rapinoe cutting it by Scott. And it's in that recovery effort that Scott bodies her to the ground. Soft call.
U.S. on the ball. Lynn Williams, who's popped up almost everywhere in this field. Tackle away again. That's Chapman. Chapman's been winning pretty much all of these 1v1 battles.
You're exactly right, and that's where I think the U.S. needs to start figuring that out. It can't be direct behind Chapman. She's wise to it. You need to start bringing in another player and combining around her.
It's Quinn with the pass, blocked. Becky, blocked again by Ernst. Lloyd for Rapinoe, the touchback. It's taken away by Rose. Becky bringing it back. Nice ball. Fleming. Trying to find Prince against two U.S. defenders. Prince still moving. Free shot maybe. She waited too long. Air came out. Net is empty. Prince dropping it back. From distance. Deflected by Becky, and the U.S. were pretty fortunate there. Prince had a chance to pull the trigger very early in that situation.
And a lot of credit goes to Janine Becky for breaking that initial press, and then the awareness of Prince just to stay high in between the two center backs and wait for that long service to come. It wasn't a perfect ball, but she did really well to bring it down and buy some time and space for herself. In the end, doesn't get her shot off quick enough. I think she's being too unselfish in that moment, trying to find the other runner.
Here's Rapinoe. Megan, block. Oh, it almost fell to Lloyd. On that last play, I was going to say, when you beat Sauerbrunn and Dahlkemper, you're beating maybe the best center back tandem in the entire world.
Yeah, and look, we know the quality that Prince has. Seen in the NWSL with the Houston Dash. She likes to just sit up and feast on those moments where she can go at players, whether it is 1v1 or 1v2. But it's something the U.S. hasn't faced that often, to be fair. And that was one thing Vlatko said early before the game was we have to starve the service to those players up top, or if not, get numbers around her. In that situation, the recovering runs ended up helping out.
Quiet night so far for Katarina Macario, but the night is still young. 52nd minute, scoreless USA and Canada. First game for each of these teams in the She Believes Cup. Second game tonight. Brazil won the first game 4-1 over Argentina. Lloyd did well to keep possession there. Lynn Williams. Around Gilles. Soft cross in. Rapinoe bobbled and held on to by LeBay.
And it's a good decision by Lynn Williams. Finally, they get some success on that right side, but it's because they're not going up against Chapman. Rapinoe pulls out and finds some space to have this strike. And if I'm Carly Lloyd, I want to crash it on LeBay because, again, she spills it.
'53rd minute. U.S. and Canada still scoreless. Just like last year around this time in Olympic qualifying. Ernst. Sauerbrunn. That was a poorly played ball back, and here's Prince in the box who cuts it back. Open chance, saved by Nair, robbing Becky. And again, Prince too unselfish. Ball lobbed ahead. But Canada have now had two good opportunities in the last few minutes.
Oh, my.
Rapinoe cuts it left. Lindsey Horan. Defenders backing off. In for Lloyd. Trying to bring it down cleanly. Canada again. Looking at options. Fleming. Right side for Quinn. Prince and Fleming making runs. Quinn pulling it back. Deanne Rose on the right. The cross was deflected. And it's done moving it ahead to Rapinoe. Both sides claim it's their ball. It's going to be Canada's. And that 60-minute mark is usually a benchmark for subs, and it'll be interesting to see if they go at that point and who's going to be coming in for the U.S.
There's a look at the poor ball back by Dunn, and you were right, JP. Too unselfish was Nichelle Prince, and Janine Becky again, a sitter. She has too much time. She overthinks it and just strikes it right at Lissonaire. Those are moments that Janine Becky has to finish. She has to put those away. You're not gifted all too many opportunities by the U.S., and if you want to beat them, you need to take advantage of them.
Quinn has just come out. Sophie Schmidt, we congratulate you, her 200th cap. Third Canadian to reach that mark, 14th from CONCACAF to get there. Player replaced was Quinn. So that's the second change that Canada made, because they changed the goalkeeper when Kaylin Sheridan was injured early in this game.
There you go again with your math, JP.
Yep.
I think that's a wise decision, though, by Canada to get some fresh legs on the pitch as this game starts to open up more. That's an advantage. You're going to want a double six to be able to cover the ground, to be able to go box to box.
Headed up by Williams, and then Macario goes for it. Should have been a dangerous play, no?
Yeah. And also a pulled hamstring.
Nair took off her line. Nair's already been more challenged in this game than several previous games she's played in. Canada's been threatening. Here's Rapinoe threatening at the other end. Nice cut. And then Megan pushes it too far ahead. First touch there for Sophie Schmidt. Trying to move it across. Intercepted. Horan from distance. Went in early. Valorn header. Off target. That's the one she wanted.
Really good run and incredible ball by Lindsey Horan. Carly Lloyd makes that out to in run, bends her run, so now she's facing the whole frame, and no one can believe that she skies that one over. Credit good movement, though, to get in that spot.
She told us yesterday she loves watching the number 9s now, and she mentioned a few: Lewandowski, Firmino,
Kane.
I know.
Of course.
I know you're a Tottenham fan, so I
think you should have led with Kane, to be
fair.
fair.
Your eyes lightened up as soon as you said Harry Kane. You forgot about the other two, including Lewandowski.
Just lead with Kane next time, and we're good.
Here is Dahlkemper in the 58th minute. A surprising scoreline. U.S. and Canada still without a goal. There have been opportunities for both sides. Not a whole lot, though. For those just tuning in, though, Allie, who thought that the U.S. would dominate this game on the scoreboard, why haven't they, would you say?
The decision-making in the final third has been poor. I think the movement has been poor. And then ultimately the execution. There have been chances, but I think for both sides, final third execution has been a miss.
And to their credit, Canada has played very well. Very well. For a team that's missing some 7 players, including some of their very best players, they've done well.
Well, look, they're taking away, or they've dealt with one of the greatest assets the United States has, and that's the moments that they press in. If you look back on the recent games under Vlaco, under Jill, how many goals have come from press or counter-press moments? It's most of them.
Lloyd looking over, trying to receive that. Riviere came back to help. Canada's been very calm under pressure.
Exactly.
Almost got burnt there here in the 59th minute. Sub for Canada. Viennes is coming in. for Rose. Might just be fresh legs.
And this was a player that Priestman had highlighted with her ability to find the back of the net. She said she's tearing it up in training. And we'll see if she can do it on the international level.
Here is Macario, and that's blocked. The ends is still property of Sky Blue, but plays for Paris FC on loan, but she'll join Sky Blue sometime after this tournament. Rejoin Sky Blue. Ball goes out for the throw-in. Millions of kids nationwide are without their normal access to sports and play due to COVID-19. That's why Fox Sports and Good Sports are restoring play for kids and the programs that serve them through donations of brand new sports equipment. Text PLAY to the number on your screen to help keep kids in the game. Lindsey Horan looking for another terrific ball ahead. That one not as good as the previous one to Lloyd. Rapinoe on the left. The cross. Overshot a couple of players there, including Lynn Williams. Nice move by Purse to keep it alive with the attacking end. Mids Purse. That cross met head on. Prince trying to move it ahead for Fleming. Dunn is in there. Solid run for Rapinoe. Past the hour mark. Dunn. Pushed by Sophie Schmidt. The foul is called.
That's really good movement by Crystal Dunn. In that half space, she makes the darting run forward, and Schmidt does well to track her, but in the end, fouls her just right at the edge of the 18. And this is one of those prime spots for Megan Rapinoe to stand on it, stand over it.
Takers of the world, Megan Rapinoe. Two in the wall for Canada. Hurts Horan among the targets.
I wonder if Bev Priestman's having flashbacks against England.
Victor Dunn is alone at the edge of the 18. Rapinoe does a goal, and LeBay stopped that one. A lot of options for Rapinoe, and a nice save for LeBay.
Well, of course she goes straight to goal, and it was France actually that she hit that ball exactly like that in the World Cup. LeBay initially leaning left, comes back, reads it, two hands on it.
Corner for Rapinoe, 63rd minute. Near post, it's low. Three players in that collision. And Ertz is the player down. Foul appear to be going against the U.S., who are getting ready to make some changes on the field. What a warrior, Julie Ertz. 106th international appearance for the U.S.
That's how they make them out of Santa Clara.
That's the obligatory Santa Clara mention from Allie Wagner. So Rapinoe's coming out. Kristen Press will come in. Other changes coming. Get them for you as they come in. Lloyd out. Morgan in. So one veteran replaces another, and the end of the night for Macario, replaced by the very popular Rose Lavelle. How many teams can make three changes like that, Allie, in the world? Three quality players like that in the women's game or even in the men's game. They make three quality subs like that at one time.
None. I mean, men's game, closest thing might be Man City.
Riviere is going to come out for Gabrielle Carl. Riviere had a good night, I thought, for the 20-year-old overall.
She did. calm on the ball, and that was one of my questions just to keep an eye on tonight coming into the match, was whether she would be able to play out of pressure, and she handled it brilliantly. And I think having Gilles next to her helped.
So here's where the USA can get even stronger. You make 3 changes and bring in 3 potential game breakers. Played into the box. Headed away once. Brought down, though, by Lindsey Horan. Knocked away. Look at the defensive work by Prince, and she gave it away to Lavelle. Curling ball in. Swept away. A dangerous clearance, though. Becky's after it against Purse. Nice turn back upfield by Purse. Lavelle. Hurts. Wide for Horan. Lindsey tucking it in. Press was going near post, and the first touch was not clean. She loved the surface, though.
And that's the decision-making and the creativity that really didn't exist in this game up until that point by Lindsey Horan. Good ball out by Ertz. She recognizes you got to get it wide to create some space in the interior. Lindsey Horan, everyone thinks she's going to shape that to the inside, and just that silky touch and the run in behind by Kristen Press. That's pretty.
You know, Ali, we talked in this game about how many players are missing for Canada. We haven't even mentioned the fact that Tobin Heath is out for the U.S. and also Sam Ewis. Those are 2 big losses. Both are injured.
Yeah, but hopefully not long-term injuries and players that will be back into the fold. And a big moment for Alex Morgan coming back after having given birth.
Alex has had to come back from so much, right? First the injury problems, then a pregnancy. Then she did give birth to daughter Charlie, and then COVID. Here is Lavelle. Just looking in front for Kristen Press, and it's cleared out of play. Both Lavelle and Press are now playing in England, but for rival big clubs.
And it's interesting, with Kat Macario, I felt like she was fading more towards the left side. Rose Lavelle seems to be playing in a truer spot, in that right 10 spot, and I think she's going to be able to create more from that pocket in the interior.
From the corner, Williams is going after it. Comes all the way back. This is Sauerbrunn. Doug Priestman, the head coach of Canada, said yesterday, you have to match the U.S. physically, especially in the midfield. That's one of the things I think they've achieved so far.
Agreed.
Press on the left. 9 goals in her last 11 games for the U.S. Press looking, stripped away by Sophie Schmidt. The U.S. first to the ball, though, again. Ertz. Now on the right side, it's Horan over the ground. She's been covering across the way. Long, quick shot, wide. Alex Morgan looking for her first goal of this year.
And you talk about final third decisions. Canada has a ton of players back. U.S. has good numbers in the box, but I just think that's one, too, that you can pull out and recycle.
Ball knocked out of play. It belongs to Canada. 68th minute. A surprising scoreline. Zeros on the board. USA and Canada. Canada have not defeated the U.S. since 2001. Dunn, left side. Working against Gabrielle Clark. Look at those moves. Crystal Dunn, the cross! What an opportunity again. That was Alex Morgan. She's getting there. Vlatko Andonovski says every day she's better in training. Missing the January camp hurt her, though. Put her back a little bit.
And the U.S. had flooded that far side. Crystal Dunn was weak, and then she was able to go 1v1 against Carl. And I love the timing that she had on when she decided to explode past Carl. It gave time for those other players to find their way in the box, so there would be someone on the end of her service when she's able to blow by Carl and release it.
What a terrific World Cup for Alex Morgan with 6 goals and 3 assists for her. Jens. Taken away. Lavelle, 16 in the white and blue of the U.S. Rose with a pass ahead, too slow, picked up by Carl. Almost gave it away in the middle. Canada had been able to break out pretty well tonight against this strong U.S. defense. That time it was lost, though. And Purse goes back upfield in the 70th minute. Blocked. Purse will recover. Dahlkemper. Lobel. Down the right side for the speedy Lynn Williams. LeBay came out and knocked it out for a corner. USA versus number 8 Canada. They're actually tied with Brazil in the latest FIFA women's rankings. Kristen Press with this corner. It's one up for grabs. Headed away by Gilles. Collected by Sauerbrunn. He will drive it long. Almost found Alex Morgan. 71st minute. Latko Andonovski has not lost as head coach of this U.S. team after 13 games and some dominating performances. Right now, Canada giving the USA a run for their money. Horan. Pushing it back. Ernst. Wanted press. A bump there. Horan picks it up. And then is called for the foul, running over Sophie Schmidt. Rivals for both club and country. We're going to see another change.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Fritz is going to lead Adriana Leon. Good goal scorer will come in.
Prince had a good day.
She did. We might be talking more about her, Allie, because she had 2 chances to score and put Canada in the lead.
I think her positioning, her positioning was good when they did break, and Bevitt said she wanted this team to attack the U.S. in more ways than one, and you saw it, I think, specifically with Michelle Prince, where she opted to take up her positions high, and when she came back and picked it up in lower areas on the field, and then you saw her defensive work rate.
Here's Viens. Has options, pushing it left. Knocked away from Leon. That would have been Leon's first touch. This has been a good game for the U.S. to play an opponent like this because it's been so competitive. Those games against Colombia, they were friendlies, but 4-0 and 6-0, they were not tested. This is a good test for the U.S. tonight.
That's exactly what you want to see if you're Vlatko and Milan and the rest of the staff.
He'll learn more from this game than the 2 games against Colombia.
No doubt.
Canada up for Fleming. Leon. Driving it, blocked. Dahlkemper on the block. Horan gave it away uncharacteristically for Lindsay. Canada's playing with a confidence that I haven't seen in a while from them offensively, especially when you consider the missing players. Defending was Williams. Chapman wins. Tried to play it across and it's deflected out. Should be a corner for Canada. They were appealing for a handball.
Not only are they playing with confidence, but they're picking the right spots and where to exploit the U.S. And you've seen it with Janine Becky.
Ooh. Is that not a handball? That Priestman says yes.
I hate handballs. You're never going to get me to call one. I say miss the player's hand. Do better.
11-4, the edge in the corners for the U.S. Canadian corner up for grabs from Kennefa Zadorski. Canada back on it. Gabrielle Carl throwing ball in. Missed a couple of targets. Lobel will chip it ahead. And out of play.
JP, I just going back to Janine Becky, and I think the areas that she's popped up in has provided some problems for the U.S. She's tucked in when she was on the left side. into the interior, and it's that space outside Julie Ertz that can get exposed.
Adriana Leon's pass is pushed back to Carl. Sidorsky. Chapman going more in the offensive attack lately. First half and beyond was more defensive, but now she's trying to go forward. Hurst. Another long ball, but that one too far away from anyone in the U.S. uniform. So managing the game, Allie, you've got like 15 minutes to go. Who manages it best? This would be huge for Canada if they could come away even at 0-0. This would be huge for their program.
Well, I think they've been tactically managing the game well to this point, to be fair. And I think the reason you're seeing Chapman getting higher was just that they actually had the U.S. pinned in. So Canada knows they want to take the risks when they can, and that would have been one of them.
What does the U.S. need to do in the next 15 if they're going to win it?
The decision-making in the final third is the thing that stood out to me the most, and that's getting your playmakers on it with time and space. And how do you do that? Well, patience right there by Midge Purce. Not driving in like she did for about 65 minutes to go 1v1 against Chapman. Finding Ertz, letting Ertz maybe switch it to find another player. But you got to create more space in the interior against this Canadian side.
Canada will try to counter. The Schmidt pass was too far away from the ends. It's a USA throw-in. Still scoreless here, 76th minute. And if this game ends like this, how important is that second game against Brazil, who already have 3 points in the bank tonight with a win over Argentina? You know, the goal is obviously to win this tournament. You can have a successful tournament if you learn things about your team, even if you don't win it. But if you're the U.S., Allie, they expect to win all of these games and tournaments.
Yes, that's the giant butt in the room.
Yeah. Schmidt. Moving it to the right. 77th minute. Gabrielle Carl. Scott. The shield pass to Schmidt, blocked. The U.S. will try to move it on a quick counter. Look at who's open. Julie Ertz found that space. Julie's cross. Bounces away, but it's settled on her off the crossbar. And then cleared to safety by Shield. Great opportunity.
And really one of the first times the U.S. has been able to go on the counterattack without the double sixes, being below the ball for Canada. And it's a hopeful ball served in by Julie Ertz, really, to Lynn Williams, but Lindsey Horan doing her work to get up on that backside, gets a clear look at it.
At the U.S. corner, they're in double digits there. Headed strongly by Canada, but not far enough out. Purce will redirect it. Back inside on the bounce. Chipped ahead, headed once, but right up the middle. Dunn settles. Sauerbrunn in the 78th minute. Out wide for Horan. Crystal Dunn. A couple of cuts there. She'll go wide again to Lindsey Horan. Versus Carl. Touchback, Lavelle. Purce. Adriana Leon was after her and too persistent there in her defending. She gets called.
You asked about game management. Well, that's a really silly foul by Adriana Leon. You had the player turn her back towards her attacking goal, and you still clip her from behind.
Yeah, she committed like maybe 3 fouls there.
Who's counting?
Take your pick. Take your pick. 79th minute. Scoreless. Free kick here. USA. From distance. With a bounce in the box. Lavelle. Goal. U.S. leads. In the 79th minute. Rose Lavelle as a sub gives the United States the lead. The 14th international goal.
Well, you make a silly foul against the U.S., and they're going to make you pay eventually. It's not pretty, it's not perfect, but it's a really good strike by Rose Lavelle to be able to beat Steph LeBay at that near post from that angle with all that traffic in front of her is a thing of beauty. And you got to wonder if LeBay's vision was screened on that with so many defenders and players between her, Lavelle, and the ball.
Off the right foot of Rose Lavelle, who now plays for Manchester City. Some tough going there. Found it hard to find a way to make her as effective as they possibly can. Still a work in progress there. 3 goals in 11 games for the very talented Lavelle. So your Canada alley, you've gone almost 80 minutes without conceding, and now you could lose this game. But Bev Priestman has learned an awful lot about a lot of these players tonight, for sure.
In so many situations like this, we see the team then go on to concede 2, 3 goals, and that'll be the challenge right now for Canada. What kind of mental toughness do they have, having weathered the storm at different points in this game, and then to finally concede with 10 minutes to go?
This would be a moral victory for Canada. They've played well tonight. They really have. I saw Emily Sonnet up. I saw Casey Kruger up, so we'll see if they may come into this game. In the meantime, what an opportunity tonight for Midge Purse, who's been given 80 minutes so far as the right back.
Well, here's a look at the traffic that was headed towards that near post. Of course, it's going to be Ertz and Horan, the first ones into that area, and then Lavelle is smart, pulls out. The rest is history.
I think you're right, though, about the screen. She had a couple of defenders in front of her, and perhaps her vision was blocked. Some blood there from Lindsay Horan, as we're going to see a change. And
but even so, JP, even so, I think her positioning was poor to get beat at that near post at that angle.
Yeah, goalkeepers always think they should have it if it's at the near post. So Crystal Dunn comes out. Casey Kruger, you may remember her before she was married as Casey Short. Good to see her back and given an opportunity. And then Lindsay Horan is coming out as well, replaced by Christy Mewis. And there's Emily Sonnet. We saw her up before, and she'll come in as well for Midge Purse. So good experience for Purse. This is her longest run of minutes for the USA in any particular game. In fact, more minutes tonight than she had in the first 2 games, and even going back to last year.
Yeah, and I think when you look at Purse's performance, I don't think she made the right decisions a lot of the time. But I do like the fact that she kept on it and she didn't concede possession, knowing that she kept losing out to Chapman.
There's Canada fighting to get something out of this game. Kruger and Becky went shoulder to shoulder as that ball went out of play. Pretty much a like-for-like swap because Kruger can play as a left back and other positions too. So you assume she would go in there in that spot. Sonnet can play pretty much anywhere back there. Hear that communication from that U.S. back line. Free kick Becky. 84th minute. Just a 1-0 lead for the U.S. over Canada. Becky near post. Overshot Adriana Leon. Oh, Sophie Schmidt making it that near post. Clipped here. Zadorsky blocked by Morgan. Sent back the other way. Leon's on the chase. Number 19 in red. Doing a nice job to keep that one in play for Canada. Double team there. Look at Ertz. That one's blocked. Julie Ertz can pretty much do it all. 1-0 U.S. over Canada here in the 85th minute. Trying to close this one out, get the 3 points. We have college hoops coming up next. Rutgers at number 3, Michigan. That's next here on FS1. Morgan bump there. Schmidt tries to take it over to Chapman. Fleming. Ball was lost out. Belongs to the U.S. Emily Sonnet play a number of positions in the back. She is now the property of the Washington Spirit. She and Kelly O'Hara will be newcomers to the Spirit this next season.
New investors coming into that team, among others.
Big news. Brian Astoria is among them. Welcome back, Brian.
She is. She never really left.
No. One of the all-time greats. That's an offside on the end. I would think the Canadian locker room is going to be full of smiles despite the loss, Ellie. I mean, they gave this...
No way, JP. They hate us. No way.
I knew you were going to say that. But if the lie detector test was there, they're happy.
Fair enough.
They gave the #1 team in the world all they could handle. They could have led twice. And if they lose by a 1-0 scoreline, I think Bev Priestman can pat herself on the back, getting this team ready. They believe in what she's trying to do.
Agreed. I think they gave a good account of themselves to this point.
Settle there. Williams, the footwork, but it's blocked. Williams stays with it. Cleared by Desiree Scott, headed forward by Ertz. Morgan was going for it. Becky. Canada, one of those teams going to the Olympics for sure. U.S. is another. Brazil is another in this competition. In fact, Brazil will be led by former USA head coach Pia Sundhage. See Pia on Sunday. It looks strange, Ali, to see her in a Brazil warm-up the other day.
It does. It really does. But that's the, what is it, the Ferris wheel of coaches that exists in football and women's football in particular.
We got used to seeing her with the Sweden jacket. That looked different at first. We know that's where she's from. So that was okay. But now to see her with Brazil, but she said when Brazil calls, how do you say no?
Well, she's always admired the flair part of the game, and you can get plenty out of that.
USA
We saw it today with Dabinia.
Yeah, USA-Brazil Sunday. Shaping up as a battle for first place. Assuming this result stands here. Here's Leon. Cutting it across. Headed down. And it's wide. The chase is on. That's Christy Mewis, who has scored in 2 of the last 3 games for the U.S. Look at that ball. Retreating is LeVay. Alex Morgan, it's tackled away. Gilles saves the day with that tackle.
I thought Alex Morgan was going to have a go earlier. The net was wide open. LeVay was out, and she's scrambling. And a big toe from this slide. Really good ball. But different wrinkle with Alex Morgan as your 9 versus a Carly Lloyd. You're going to be playing that ball more often.
Good point. Press with yet another corner for the U.S. LeVay, one hand on it. Lavelle heading it. Shot went wide. Skin looked like off that far post off Ertz.
She's not used to using her feet in the 18. Usually it's coming to her head.
Yeah, half of her goals have been headers.
And she's just sitting at the right spot, the right time. Casual in the end.
U.S. leading on a Rose Lavelle goal. Came in the 79th minute, her 14th international goal as the ball is played all the way back. Nair will clip it ahead. Adriana Leon. Chapman. Fleming. Blocked. Dahlkemper just got there in the nick of time. Almost at 90 minutes. This has been the most competitive game U.S. has played against Canada in so long. So many years.
It's true.
Fleming. It's out for a corner. Canada still have a chance to get an equalizing goal. We'll see about stoppage time, too. It's official now. 4 minutes added on. Minimum of 4 in stoppage time. Janine Becky ready. To the middle. Oh, Zadorsky thought she had it. Had a chance to meet that ball, but either missed it or just got a slight touch.
And looks like Abby Dahlkemper was initially the one that was on her and lets her go free. And in the end, it's the zoner, Christy Mewis, who's on her. And that just glances and doesn't miss the far post by much.
Listen there to put it back into play. She's looking forward to being the starter at the upcoming Olympics. She was the backup to Hope Solo back in 2016. Christy Mewis putting it into space. Morgan was going for it. That's Chapman again. To Morgan. Alex with a look. Blocked. Another shot high and wide. It's a goal kick for LeMay.
How good was that, though, by Christy Mewis? First to beat the player and then to serve that ball, bending in behind the back line. Alex Morgan can't quite clean it up, and then Lynn Williams gets in the back end of it. 2 looks, one for Lynn Williams, one for Alex Morgan. Neither one sharp in the 18. Not even close.
A year ago, you could say Christy Mewis was not in the conversation for the Olympics. You can't say that now. She's definitely in the conversation, as are many other players. Again, it's going to be tough to make cuts. But that's Vlatko Andonovsky's job. Here's Casey Kruger. Headed away by Canada. Ernst will send it long. Williams, great job to bring it down, and there's Chapman again. Sonnet on the right, chased by the ends. 3rd minute of stoppage time. U.S. with a 1-0 lead over Canada. Ernst, distance, sending it in. Saint-Lemay press, save by LeMay. And the flag was up anyway.
Just one step ahead of that back line, Kristen Press is, and she's looking down the line. Really tight.
Flips forward by Schmidt. Leon blocked. It's a throw-in for Leon. She knows they're up against the clock now. Headed by Kruger. And now it's the USA with a throw-in and a chance to take some more time off this clock. About a minute left from this surprising night in Orlando, Florida.
And it feels like this was Canada's night, even though the U.S. is up 1-0. Feels like this was a surprise performance by this Canadian team, and they were incredibly disciplined in their defending, and they made it really hard on the U.S. to break down what they were throwing at them. And in the end, it took a set play to open them up.
Stick around for college basketball next. Rutgers at number 3, Michigan, at the conclusion of this game, which has another half minute or so to go. Chapman up the left. U.S. won that. The ends thought she had it. Here's Ernst. Christy Mewis. Look at that thought, and then the vision to play that ball in. press. End line. Cutting it back for Morgan. Cleared away. That might do it.
And it makes you wonder, though, JP, why the U.S. didn't have a lower line of confrontation earlier in this match, because the more they've been sitting back and allowing Canada to come out and play, the more space there has been in and behind for the likes of an Alex Morgan to run into.
This could be it after this throw-in from Sonnet, Williams, Chapman. And that will do it. It was not an easy one, Allie, but the U.S. wins over Canada.
And that's the story of the United States. When they're not perfect, when they can't find the back of the net at ease, they still find a way. They grind it, and they wear down their opposition and cause a mental lapse that ultimately gets them on the score sheet. So not surprised by the result. Surprised, though, that the U.S., it was a harder situation than we anticipated coming in.
This was a tough 3 points for the U.S. to get, and they didn't get it until really the 79th minute. So they're now tied with Brazil, which will set up a big matchup on Sunday. The other game will be Canada versus Argentina. So here's what we have coming up on Sunday. We start our coverage 2:30 Eastern Time, USA versus Brazil. We'll see Marta and her Brazilian teammates against the U.S. and then Wednesday against Argentina for the U.S. Coming up next, keep it here. Rutgers at number 3, Michigan. For Allie Wagner, I'm JP Dellacamera. Thanks so much for watching tonight. Rose Lavelle with the game's only goal. It came in the 79th minute, her 14th international goal, as the USA is now unbeaten in their last 35. See you Sunday.